For Danse Macabre by Saint Saëns, I would teach it in this way to young children. First of all, I would show them the book of Funny Bones, which I don't have on me, but it's got these cartoon-like skeletons, so they don't look threatening, and you're not going to give them nightmares by doing this piece of music. And then I say this whole piece of music is about these skeletons doing a little dance. And it's a good one to use to introduce lots of different instruments and then show them how music can tell a story. So the first thing I would do is I would play the beginning of the piece and set the scene by telling them they're in this church ground and it's at night time. What do they think they might hear? And then I play them this, and they have to try and guess what that sound is. What's it trying to imitate? And then I pause it at that moment. Sometimes they get it, other times they don't. If they don't, you can always give them the hint that what goes dong, 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 dong. And then they might say, oh, then it's the church chimes or something. And then we can move on to the next bit. So the next bit of the music, they'll hear these footsteps played by the double bass. And I tell them that it's this person comes in a black cloak, and they're carrying a violin, and then they take it out and they play this melody which goes high, low, high, low, low, which I will do the whole thing in a minute. So let's go from the beginning then, because at the beginning the church chimes is something they'll do on their percussion instruments after, or their violins on the D string. But for the movement piece, we're not going to be doing that. We're going to actually do the sort of long sustained note that you hear in the violins instead. Okay, I'll do the whole piece then so you can hear. Okay, from the start. So these are the church chimes, and then you do kind of like a blanket of night coming over the word. And another one. Get that floaty feeling. Footsteps. And while they're getting the footsteps ready, you're going to stretch out the scarf, ready to do high, low, high, high, low, low, high, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, low. And then hear the flute, show them what a flute looks like. And then we do the violin part. So we like the echo. And then we say the skeletons come out and do their little dance. So one phrase, and then change direction for the next phrase. And that's all to encourage like the loose wrist there. That's a skeleton, that's a skeleton, that's a skeleton, and shake. And the other way, that's a skeleton, that's a skeleton, that's a skeleton, and shake. Now I'm going to try and get rid of the skeleton. So act. Use the violin again. And back. That's a skeleton, that's a skeleton, that's a skeleton. Turn around. Back to your waltz again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Change direction. The new phrase. That's a skeleton, that's a skeleton, that's a skeleton, and it's stop. That's a skeleton, that's a skeleton, that's a skeleton, and it's stop. Then ready for one last five. And that's the note I pause it on. So for string players, there's a few little things that we do in there. One of them is the wrist, so the flexible wrist that they will need for string crossing eventually. And the other one is the elbows. This action of moving the skeleton elbows then translate to when you're playing a violin. It's that kind of movement coming from the elbow rather than this kind of action. So there's lots of different movements we're rehearsing away from the instrument that will then make it easier when they start playing the violin.